I was asked to speak about unfairness and abuse of process as evidence of judicial misconduct. First, I want to thank Zena Crenshaw for her efforts to form the National Judicial Conduct and Disability Law Project, for her efforts to put this Judicial Reform Conference together, and for her efforts to expose the problems in our court system and push for needed reforms. And most importantly, also for inviting me to speak at this conference. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk about this issue. Also, I want to thank Rice University for hosting this conference. And I want to thank the other speakers who have the courage and integrity to speak out about the problems with our court system and to push for necessary and long overdue reforms. Reforms that are absolutely necessary if we truly want liberty and justice for all in America. Finally, I want to thank those of you who took the time to attend this conference and those who are taking the time to watch this video. I truly appreciate your interest in learning about your rights, about our court system, and about the things that you can do to help restore justice in America. I'm an attorney from Florida. Sometimes it seems like Colombia or Mexico. I'm sure many of you from other states feel like you might be operating in a third world legal system. I earned my bachelor's degree in business administration from the University of South Florida, with a major in finance and a minor in economics. I earned my law degree and my MBA at the University of Florida. They not only have great sports programs, we are the national football and basketball champions right now. Go Gators. But also, University of Florida's law school is consistently ranked as one of the best public law schools in the country. It's also considered to have one of the best business schools in the country. While earning my MBA, I worked as a teaching assistant in the economics department. And economics is one of the most important disciplines to be educated in. Better helps you understand the forces that shape society. Some of you may know me from my work on election reform or on media reform. These go hand in hand with judicial reform because if our votes are not counted accurately, then we have no power to elect leaders who will act in the public's best interest to ensure a just court system. And if the cartel that controls the media in our country will not expose election fraud and will not expose judicial corruption, then that cartel needs to be broken up, or we need to turn to new, independent, and more trustworthy news sources. Our country's founders realized that a free flow of information is absolutely necessary to preserve democracy. This is why they protected freedom of speech and the press, and why they required public trials. They understood that the public needs to know what our government is doing. They knew that an informed and empowered public was the only way to prevent tyranny and protect liberty and justice. Most of us have heard the saying, no justice, no peace. In fact, many of you have probably chanted that at a rally. Some may think that it's a threat, but it's not. It's the truth. Without justice, there can be no peace. The Florida Supreme Court has said that if a man cannot find justice in the courts, he is likely to seek justice in the streets. However, vigilante justice is just one of the problems caused by failure to find justice in the courts. Without justice, there is no peace, because at any moment, your life can be turned upside down. At any moment, your job, your property, even your children can be taken away from you. Your only choices are to fight back and quite possibly lose everything, even your life, or give the man with the power whatever he wants. Without justice, you cannot find peace unless you are a member of one of the privileged classes. And even then you have to worry about crossing paths with someone with greater privileges than you. Without a court system that will protect your rights and give you the same treatment that it gives every person, you have no rights and no justice. If the court system gives some people special treatment and you end up crossing paths with someone from one of those privileged classes, they win and you lose. If the law is not applied equally, it's not fair or just. When the law is not applied equally, there is injustice, there is tyranny and oppression. Without justice, there is no peace. There is only anarchy. Many leading economists believe that America's justice system is one of the main reasons why our country grew so much more quickly than others and came to be so prosperous. Of course, there has always been injustice in America, but our system was just more just than others. And that is what encouraged Americans to invest time, effort, and financial resources in economic endeavors. They made these investments because they felt that their investment would be protected and they could reap the benefits. However, those who suffer from an unjust government do not have the same incentive to make the investments that lead to a better life, because they know that at any moment their investment can be unjustly taken from them. Our founders understood this too. They had seen what could happen when people in government had too much power. They knew that it would lead to abuses, and the abuse did not just hurt the people who lost their property or their liberty. Our founders knew that it hurt everyone. This is why they tried to put a system in place that would ensure that people were treated equally and fairly. Our founders designed our system of government to try to protect us from abuses of power. They had experienced tyranny where the king, his judges, and his ministers could change the law at their will. They wanted to design our system to protect us from tyranny, both that of a dictator or king and that of the majority. To do this, they designed a system of checks and balances, which includes the three branches of government: the press and the public, through elections, the right to assemble, the right to freedom of speech, the right to petition for redress of grievances, and through jury service. Our founders intended to continue the protections afforded by the grand jury. The Fifth Amendment requires the government to present evidence showing probable cause to convince a grand jury to issue an indictment before charging someone with a capital or infamous crime, which is also known as a felony. However, the Fifth Amendment has since been interpreted as only requiring the federal government to seek grand jury indictments. When our Constitution was ratified, the public prosecutor, as we know it, did not exist. If your cattle were stolen and you learned who did it, you petitioned